In this video we're going to have a look at making some Malva pudding, and we are cheating because we are using a pre-mix. However, pre-mixes work really well, so that's why we're going with that. So what we need to do to get this going is to preheat to 180 degrees. So we're going to do that for 5 minutes, and then in the meantime we're just going to get everything ready. So the preheat's on the way. And then what we need to do is add 1 egg. Right, so we add the egg. The next thing on the list is going to be 80 mils of cooking oil and 200 mils of milk. So I don't have a measuring jug, so I'm going to just judge about 200 mils of milk. Hopefully we get it close. So maybe that's about 200 mils, maybe a little bit more. And then what we need is 80 mils of cooking oil. So I've only got the olive oil, so we'll do it with the olive oil. And we're going to do 80 mils. So I'm also just going to judge kind of what that looks like. Right, maybe a bit more. Right, so that should be about 80 mils of cooking oil. So we just pop that in there. Right, and now what we need to do is whisk it up. I don't have a whisk, so I'm just going to use a fork to mix all that together. So we get that going. And then as part of the mix, we also have some jam. So I've got to pop in this apricot jam. So we pop that in, and we pop this one in. So just get that off. Right, then we mix that all together. Right. Okay, so all of that is nicely underway, and then we start to add the pudding mix. So add the sugar. So the bag had anyway, got most of the sugar, some of it might have missed. Get the sugar going. Right, and then we add the mix. And then we're going to whisk all of that all together. So right, so there comes the mix. We just add it nice and slowly. We're just mixing it in as we go. Like I said, I just have a fork. I don't actually have the whisk, so we're just going to mix that in as we go. Right, it's coming on nicely. Got a nice consistency going here. Right. Right, so that's the end of the mix. Right, so now what we need to do is just get this all mixed up. And you should be, fork's not the best, you should be whisking this up, but I don't have a whisk, so I'm just going to use this, carry on with this fork, and just mixing that all up nicely. So yeah, I don't have a whisk, but I think the fork's doing just great. Right, so you can see we have a nice consistency. we estimated the milk and the oil, so I can only hope we got that right. Right, there's nothing left to mix there. That should be done. Right. Now what we need to do is just grease proof this dish. The dish might be a little bit small. In fact, I have a good feeling it will be. So we might use more than one dish for the exercise. So I'm just going to get my container here. We're just going to lightly grease that, and the preheat is nearly done, so the timing is perfect. So it takes about 5 minutes to get your premix done. Right. Right. And once it's in, we're going to bake it for about 25 minutes. So there's our greased pan, and like I said, we're probably going to use more than one container. Let's move that over and just give that another good whisking up here. I think the problem is that there was some sugar as well that we added, and getting that mixed in, it looks like those crystals of the sugar haven't really dissolved. So anyway, we pour that into our bowl. And it's going to be big enough. Right. So that's fantastic, the round bowl. Right. Right, so we've managed to get most of that out. Tastes like Malva pudding. Very nice. Okay, now what we're going to do is cook that up. So pull that out, and then I'm going to pop my bowl inside, center that, and put that in, and then we're going to cook that now for approximately 25 minutes. So 180 and right, the prescribed 25 minutes, and we'll be back then to have a look in a little while. In the meantime, I'll be tidying up. We'll see you in a bit. So this is the portion that we salvaged. What happened is the pan is too deep, so the top portion cooked but not all the way through. So what we've done is we managed to take the top layer off, which was burning, and if I turn it over, so it does look like a bit of a mess. However, we need to taste. Let's see what that tastes like. So what's happened by the looks of things is that this top portion has cooked. So we've removed it. You'll actually see that it does have that kind of fluffy texture. Actually. And then what we did is we put it back in, and now we're just going to cook the rest of it. So we'll see how this is going to turn out. But this part tastes great. Right, so we finished cooking the balance, and there immediately you'll see that as we took the top layer off, that the layer below that started cooking properly, but obviously it needs a bit more time. So I'll just pull that to the middle and put that back in, and I think we'll go for another 5 minutes there. So right, let's see how that does. Right, so the extra 5 minutes is up, and you'll see there we have our bowl, and if Look, it's nice and fluffy around the side, and if I check the bottom, it's cooked all the way through. So it looks as though this the remaining Malva pudding actually came out just fine. So I'm just going to put that back in there for a while, cool down a bit, and then we'll cut into it and see what that looks like. Right, so we've allowed this to cool down for a little bit, not a lot mind you, and we wanted to see what that might look like. So I have a spoon here. I'm not sure it's the kind of dish that we can actually empty. Malva puddings don't work like that, but maybe what I can do is show you the pudding and then just so we have a very nice Malva pudding. It's cooked all the way through. I'm just breaking it up here and messing it up, but I think that's good to go for a serving. So Malva pudding from our premix works. Just don't go for such a deep bowl. Keep it nice and shallow, and even if you have to do 2 portions half at a time, that's the way to go, or get a nice big flat one. So yeah, just say hope you enjoyed that. I'm enjoying what's coming out of there. Thank you for watching.